Hi everyone, this is Alert Day Trading. The purpose of this video and the videos I make is to journal my trades, notice any mistakes I'm making, notice some good behaviors I'm doing, and obviously trying to duplicate those good behaviors. And so today I just wanted to go over some trades I took. I'm very pleased with my performance today. Not only did I end up taking multiple winners, but I also followed my rules. And so let me just show you what I did today. So the first few trades I took today were on SPOT, and my strategy is to notice stocks that are trading at their all-time highs and just breaking above. So if you look, this is a max chart, and you'll see SPOT is at its all-time high. And if we zoom in a little bit, so let's check out the weekly chart, and you'll see still at an all-time high today. And then let's take a look at the daily chart, and as well trading at the all-time high. Because even if we're in the all-time high in a monthly chart or a weekly chart, in the daily chart you could still be having a pullback, and you might not be trading above the all-time high, you just might be near it. So today we were, and you can see pre-market, the highs were 211. And so we had the market open and we broke above it, which is good. That's what I'm looking for. And then I'm looking for a pullback. Now I prefer the pullback to be holding above the previous high, because then that would be considered the new support level, but it didn't. But at the same time, my strategy is to trade the break above the pullback. So this is a pullback. However, instead of putting my entry right above these candles, I'm putting my entry above the level of resistance. And then still keeping my stop loss down here. So I feel like that's minimizing the risk, because if we fail to break above this level of resistance, then we shouldn't be in the trade either way. So I feel like that is an improvement from taking a not such a great entry down here. Anyway, the first trade I took was on the 3-minute chart. If we look at the 1 minute, you could just see here that pullback just does not look very pretty. So I just kind of didn't really look at the 1 minute. The 3-minute chart, you can see the pullback was a little cleaner, just easier to manage. And like I said, I put the entry right above the break, and we did get that break above. And then you can see we kind of failed the first time, but you can see that low held, so I never got stopped out, and then we had another push higher up. So this trade ended up being a nice winner for me. I had an entry with the 3-minute, the 5-minute time frame, and the 5-minute was a better entry, I think, for risk management, just because we were holding above that resistance level, and we still had kind of this new high was acting as resistance, but we ended up breaking above that. And you can see we made a new high here, and then we ended up breaking up above here. I was considering taking a trade here, but you can just see the volume dropped off considerably, so I think it's safe to not trade this anymore. Does that mean it won't continue higher? No. It's just, I think the odds are against the continuation. Of course, it still could happen, but I'm not going to take the chance. you can see the volume over here, huge difference than over here. Especially when you're making a new high, you want to be able to see more volume. So I also took an entry in the 10-minute time frame, and the 10-minute had the cleanest entry. Here you can see the break above the all-time high, pull back, and then this was my entry right here in the 10-minute. And I did end up selling in this push higher up. I ended up selling around 217s to 19s. Actually, I did take a couple more entries. I entered over here for a second entry in the 10-minute, and I think I also used the 5-minute. Let's see. Yes, I also used the 5-minute. I entered again here, and this low held right here, and then I ended up selling at this resistance right here. So I took 5 total entries on SPOT, and I ended up with 5 winning trades. So I was very pleased with that. But I think more important is not to be pleased with the fact that the trades ended up being winners. I'm pleased with the fact that I followed my rules, and I'm pleased with the fact that I put levels at which I wanted to sell at, either at a gain or at a loss, and I stuck to those levels. I did not mess around with it, and I just sat and watched, and I didn't, change any of my orders while I was in the trade. So I'm just sticking with my plan, taking statistics to see what happens after a certain amount of trades, and if I end up with a positive outcome, I will continue to trade the strategy, regardless if I make winners or not. It won't affect how I behave the next trade. So right now I'm doing minimum of 20 trades before I decide to tweak any of my strategy. The only tweak I did make, which I'm okay with it, is just the fact what I was saying earlier. If the pullback comes below that level of resistance, I think you still have to keep your order entry above the break of the level of resistance, and of course sticking to your risk to reward rules. So that was my trades with SPOT. Just trying to see if I can find any mistakes. The only thing would be like what I was saying, because the pullback went below that level of resistance. But right now what I'm taking statistics on is after a break above the high, then I will enter after the pullback, regardless of whether it stays above or below. I'm just going to keep my entry above that level. So that's really the only thing. I don't really see much else that I want to be picky about. The other trade I took was on PDD, and this is a stock I've been watching for a while now. You can see the daily chart just on an uptrend. So I've traded it multiple times in the past couple weeks. So I got an alert today as it broke its all-time high, and I did miss a couple entries here. You'll see if I zoom in. Now here you can see we're breaking above the all-time high, And here, this was a red candle at one point, but you can see it's pretty much even with bulls and bears. So if this had been a red candle, I would have been a lot quicker to jump on it, but I'm sticking to my rule that it has to be a red candle. And here you'll see there's the first red candle, and I didn't actually take this trade. I just was a little slow on my reaction, so I missed the entry. Of course, this is the 1 minute time frame, so it just goes by so quickly. Don't have much time to react, and I just missed it. So in a way, I'm happy that I didn't chase it. And then we did get the red candle right here, and I actually did take this entry right here, break above this candle, and I was selling in this push. Well, actually, it wasn't the 1 minute time frame, and I think I just didn't. Yeah, that's right. So I did not trade the 1 minute. I think because we had this push all the way up here, I felt we were too far from some resistance level, and which should act as support, so I just didn't feel comfortable taking the trade. I did take a 3 minute time frame trade. I'm having an issue with one of my mouses, so I'm going to use a different one. So you can see here in the 3 minute we had that break above the high, and then we have our first red candle, and then I actually bought at the high of this candle. So with a stop loss right here, and then we ended up getting a nice push all the way up to 86.75. So I sold at 86.40s, and so that's risking about 40 cents, and I ended up with a 1-to-1 outcome, and we almost got that 1-to-2 risk to reward. That would have been a break above the 80-cent range. Almost got 1-to-2, so it would have been about 1.8 risk to reward. I think anything above 1-to-1 is really good. You really want to try to get 1-to-2 risk to reward, but if you're trading 1-to-1 risk to reward, you really need to make sure that your outcome is better than 50%. But if you can get 50% outcome of winners to losers and get a risk to reward of about 1-to-2, then you should be doing really good. And so far my statistics are showing that I'm at least getting 1-to-1, 1-to-2 risk to rewards on most of the trades. There's been a couple where it even went up to 3 and possibly 4. I've had risk to rewards that went up to 10. And they don't happen too often, but they do happen. So as long as you stick to your rules, you should be in a positive direction. So I'm still doing my statistical analysis and gaining confidence with that. I'm still working on my trading performance, but overall today I'm very pleased with my performance, my trading behaviors. And so if you have any questions, let me know. Just to remind you, the purpose of this video and the videos I make is to journal my trades, notice any mistakes I'm making, focus on good behaviors, and if you can learn from any of my mistakes, any of my good behaviors, that's definitely a bonus. Alright, good luck, and thanks for watching.